So I wanted to get back to the whole Jimmy thing. Looks like that's what you want to talk about. So I had a couple points,
Sure.
really just in evaluating Jimmy. First off, how good is Jimmy when he's healthy? I mean, let's go back to week 1 versus Arizona last year, right?
Yep.
He's skittish in the pocket.
Yep.
His accuracy, obviously isn't that great.
Can't throw down the field. Can't throw outside the numbers. Can't move.
Exactly. He can't move in the pocket. We already have problems in our offensive line. So that's an issue right there as well. The bigger issue, too, is it's pretty well established that he's not healthy ever.
That's the biggest issue.
That's the biggest issue.
You can't even get to the other stuff because,
Exactly. So you're sitting here trying to evaluate a player. Is just Jimmy better than this guy or that guy? We can go down a laundry list of players, but the guy isn't healthy. He can't suit up. He's not on the field.
Right.
So
which makes him doubly expensive because you don't get to save money when he's not playing. You're paying him like $4 million a win or something. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. Yeah. So really when I'm evaluating or I'm looking at these different quarterbacks on the market, even Josh Rosen that you've talked about a bunch, really, I mean, evaluate him against the backup on your team. Because that's who's playing is your backup more often than not. So really getting rid of Jimmy is that classic addition to subtraction because you can retain other players. You can do more with your roster with all that move.
You can theoretically get a quarterback who can stay healthy for 16 games and avoid playing your backup quarterback because that's been the problem on the Niners. The backups.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I wanted to challenge you a little bit, Grant, on a guy that I don't think you're very high on.
Okay.
And I want to bring up Mac Jones.
Okay. Let's talk about him.
Okay. So I know a lot of people don't think he's a first-round talent.
Okay.
But obviously being a quarterback, that's going to push him into the first round. At least that's what I think is going to happen.
No question. Yes.
Yeah. The reason why I'd advocate for potentially drafting him at 12, which I will admit is a little rich.
Okay.
But he's got plus arm talent. The guy can push the ball down the field.
Yes,
he can throw the ball outside the numbers. He has a quick release. Also,
I actually think he's a better prospect than Tua was.
I think he is too. I mean, well, look at the numbers.
He doesn't have the injury history. The numbers are just as good. The arm's probably a little bit better. Not as mobile, but how mobile is Tua really?
Really?
Tua's mobile enough to get himself in trouble and get himself hurt. Okay, keep going.
Okay, so he's shown that he can run a system at a high level. Obviously, he had great talent around him, wonderful skill position players, great offensive line. But the guy's playing in the SEC, so he's playing with top-level competition, against top-level competition, week in and week out. And even during practice, he's playing against Alabama every week. So the guy is more pro-ready than any other rookie prospect outside of maybe Trevor Lawrence.
I'm just going to let me argue with you, all right? And
sure. Yeah.
All due respect, because I love this argument. It's a lot of fun. And I'm usually wrong with quarterbacks. So this is more just to talk it through. The way I feel about Mac Jones is I try to it's what I did last year with Tua and Herbert. I didn't like Tua at all last year, at all. And it was all about, like, look at how many first-round picks he plays with. And look at Herbert. Like, he's on a terrible team in a terrible system. If you could imagine Herbert on Alabama and imagine Tua at Oregon, I feel like you could kind of see that Herbert was better. And what I try to do with Mac is like, okay, yeah, he's really good, but put him on Texas A&M. I don't even know who those receivers are at Texas A&M. Would he have half the buzz he has right now? Maybe not. You take a guy like Kellen Mond, who is at Texas A&M and doesn't have a great highlight reel because he doesn't have Najee Harris and Devontae. He doesn't have a great highlight reel. But if you put him on Alabama, would his numbers be worse than Mac Jones? Probably not.
I think they would.
Maybe. Okay. All right. Okay.
But I see your point though, where the system is creating production for the player, and now you're evaluating the player.
Not just the system, but the players too. Yeah. Like when I watch Mac Jones, I'm like, man, this is cool, but is this a Mac Jones highlight or a Devontae Smith highlight? It's tough.
Sure. But the guy
also, what about Kyle Trask? Those are the 3 SEC quarterbacks that are intriguing. So how do you rank them? So
I would say Mac Jones number 1, 2 Trask, and then Kellen Mond.
Okay.
The reason why I'm not as high on Kyle Trask, because there's a lot of stuff to like.
Yes.
With Kyle Trask, there really is. I think he's underrated. His arm is so limited.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have any zip on his passes. And the concern that I have with Trask coming into the NFL is how is he going to be able to push the ball outside the numbers to the outside hash?
Fair. We see that with Jimmy Garoppolo right now.
See, that's
one of the things I like about Josh Rosen is he doesn't have that limitation. The guy is a candidate.
He doesn't.
No,
he doesn't.
No,
and he actually has a pretty good arm. He has that plus arm that I'm advocating for Mac Jones with, right?
Yes.
So,
and that's another thing that I would be another reason I'd be against drafting Mac Jones, really, and Kyle Trask or any quarterback at 12 is I like Josh Rosen. I really like Josh Rosen. Now, if one of these guys, Mac Jones, Kyle Trask, Kellen Mond, was there in round 2, I would think about it. I'll be okay, absolutely. But at 12, like, nah, I like Rosen.
My concern with going with Rosen, though, obviously, is you got to bring somebody else in the building that could compete with this guy, because having your whole season pin on whether or not Rosen turns around his career is a tremendous risk.
And you don't consider Jimmy Garoppolo competition, right?
No, well, because here's the because the problem is that you can't have $27 million sitting on your bench. It's just not it's not going to happen.
Right. So it's not even a real competition. The contracts prevent it from happening. Yeah.
It's a competition. It's BS. Yeah, so one thing, I know you probably want to get to other people. I'll keep this part brief.
Sure.
I think I'll switch gears. I think Armstead needs to go. They need to find a way to get out of this contract, because that's a bomb, I think, sitting on the roster right now. And here's my case. He's going to make $12.5 million this year, coming into 2021. His cap hit goes up to $20 million in 2022. Right. Can you afford to pay Eric Armstead $20 million in 2022? Absolutely not. And it makes him completely untradeable. Yes. You can't cut him because of all the dead cap that's going to happen. I don't know exactly what the dead cap is, but it's a lot. So
they're going to be in a position in a couple of years where they're paying Jimmy Garoppolo 20-something, Trent Williams 20-something, Eric Armstead 20-something, maybe Fred Warner 20. It's too. You can't. No, you're right.
No,
move him now. Trade him to the Jets, Robert.
You have to
trade him to the Jets now. Jeff, thank you for putting this on the now.
Like, right, you heard it here first. Yeah, I know Kyle's watching this, so
of course he is, and Salah is too. They both are. Jeff, this was very strong. Man. Thank you so much.
Hey.